Greetings once again from the St. Mark Community Church. Again, it's a blessing to report that God is still on the throne. We are once again reminding you that we're still in the midst of dealing with the George Floyd death at the hands of the police, and protests are still moving forward. And I encourage you to keep this reality on the hearts and minds, not only of yourself and your children, but those who you come into contact with. Uh, if you're Black, African American, Hispanic, in fact, any race other than being white, we are being targeted, unfortunately, by the police for some very strange and outlandish behavior. And so that's not just happening in one place in this country, it's happening all over the country. Just recently in Iowa, a black man was not only killed but set on fire and left in a ditch. Uh, Recently in Monona, Wisconsin, a young black man was moving into a home in a white neighborhood. One of the neighbors called the police, and they came into the home. They handcuffed him because basically it was a black young man moving into a home. And so, just for moving in to your rented space, you can be detained and handcuffed. And so we need to be extremely careful. We need to remind those who we love to be careful when dealing with the police. It can turn into a very sad and unfortunate situation. And so, again, it's something that we need to be aware of. Uh, Want to remind you of the COVID-19 that has not passed, that COVID-19 is still impacting people, and want to give you some numbers once again. Cases worldwide, a little over 31 million cases with 965,000 deaths. Within the United States, a little over 6 million, in fact, almost 7 million cases with 199,000 deaths. We're going to be passing, if we have not passed by this morning, the 2,000 death mark here in the United States. In California, we have 790,000 cases, almost 791,000 cases, with a little over 15,000 deaths. In Solano County, 6,175 cases with 55 deaths. And in Yolo County, our neighboring county, 2,754 cases with 54 deaths. As we've often mentioned, and we believe, one death is too many. We want to continue to lift up and pray for those who have lost loved ones, husbands, wives, and children due to this pandemic. As a result, naturally, of this pandemic, uh, we've been shut down. And before I get into just how we're shut down, especially impacting the church, I want to remind you that if you have underlying conditions, uh, please do what is being recommended. Wear your mask when you're out in public, wash your hands, and keep that 6 foot distance. That is key, that is important. And with that having been said, we are in what's called a red tier in Solano County. Solano County is a part of what's called the red tier. And what that means is that for places of worship, for churches, our church, we can now once again have a maximum of 25 people within the church, 25% capacity with fewer than 100 people in the church, 100 or fewer. So that's important as it relates to our church at this time. And also, as you know, gyms, fitness centers are opening, barber shops are opening, uh, manicurists and so forth. Those are opening. Those places are opening as well with modifications. But again, if you're going to use those modifications, if you're going to be in those spaces, it's important that you wear a mask, that you keep your distance from those who are around you. We are soliciting once again your prayers, asking that you would pray for our leaders, pray for our governor, pray for our president, pray for those who are in authority, who are impacting our lives with the decisions that they are making. So keep our nation in prayer. Keep California in prayer. Keep those who are on the first lines in prayer. Our police, our fire, ambulance drivers, those who work in grocery stores, those who are working in the post office, in the hospitals, uh, CDC, all of those people who are going out and risking their lives and the lives of their families as well, going and doing their jobs that we might be made safe. So we're asking that you would keep them in your prayers. Please remember to keep your servant, myself, in your prayers as well. Continue to pray for St. Mark. Again, we have had good news as it relates to St. Mark, and that is thus far we've only had the one case of COVID-19 that directly impacted the church. That means one of our members, but he has recovered and is doing well, and we are certainly grateful and thankful for that. So once again, we want to remind you to stay safe, remind you that we are not out of the woods as yet, and each one of us must do our part, amen, to stop this spread of this virus, and to know and to rejoice and to be glad that God is still on the throne. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer.